Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today one of the stalwarts of Hughes Software Systems, HSS, who used to rule the ground floor of the legendary Plot 31 in Gurgaon as the head of the ENS, the Enterprise Networking Systems Division. He rubbed shoulders with Mao and Vinod Sood in the company as the three pillars of HSS. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to one of those pillars today, Amitava Roy. We'll certainly talk about the rivalry of these three gentlemen pillars of HSS in due course. But first of all, Amitava, please tell us about your youthful college days from 1974, the year I was born in.
Right.
Where did you go to study? Did you fall in love? And what was your first job like at TCS?
Okay. Maybe a little bit of going back into the past. See, I graduated, as you rightly said, in 1974. And by the way, thanks for having me on the show. And thanks for your perseverance and patience to really accommodate me. We had a few starts and stops in terms of several other reasons, but let's come back to the focus thing. I joined in 1974. In fact, it's a peculiar set of incidents which happened during that period of time. After we graduated from higher secondary, and we were giving these entrance exams in 1974. Uh, Initially, the first exam was the IITs, and I could not complete it. In fact, I developed some kind of an infection in my hand. So my hand was sort of right hand, which is my main weapon, was sort of I couldn't move it at all. There was some kind of an infection from a mosquito bite or something like that called lymphangitis. So that point of time, the doctor said it'll take quite a few months to recover. But nonetheless, George Fernandez helped me. There was a nationwide railway strike that point of time, and all these competitive exams after that got postponed by almost 2 months, which gave me time to actually recover, give my joint entrance, and got opportunities in all these colleges in West Bengal. And being a second generation engineer, my father was also from Jadavpur, so it was natural for me to join Jadavpur in electronics, which was my dream, area at that time, electronics and telecom actually, and that's how it started. And 5 years passed, like a breeze. We got some great friends for life, and along with them, we graduated, and then I would say that point of time, one of the big events every year for these graduate engineers used to be these Maharatna, now called Maharatna, but those times the public sector undertakings, which used to take, 50, 100 people at a time, and you had to give those competitive exams. So I actually sort of got four or five of them, including NTPC, BEL, Indian Airlines, Indian Oil, all kinds of things. And suddenly it struck me, if it's that easy to actually do this to get a job. I mean, while it was not exactly the same, but let me complete my master's. So I did my master's in computer engineering, which my focus has shifted from electronics telecom to computer engineering at that point of time. So I did my master's and then joined TCS. So in terms of the college life, it was fun. Rub shoulders with a lot of really serious classmates who were rank holders in higher secondary and joint entrance and so on. And probably they made me much better than what I used to be. So post that, I joined TCS, and that was also an interesting situation because uh, I had missed the normal campus time when TCS used to come to the campus and all. And that year, probably they did not come to the campus. However, the thing was that they had asked for laterals with 2 years experience in boroughs. And that point of time, boroughs used to be a system which was there in Regional Computer Center, which is co-located in Jadavpur. So we used to have a huge access in terms of doing all our projects and all that on the mainframe that time. So having more than 2 years experience on Burrows, I just shot off a application to TCS, and in due course they called me. Interestingly, the written exam was fine. I got called around 6 o'clock in the Calcutta TCS office, and Mr. Sani, who was the general manager that time, he suddenly looked at my and said, "You're a fresher." So I said, "Yes, I've written it in my CV." But luckily, the HR person who was there and my future boss, one Mr. Suryanaran, they looked at my written test and whatever my scores and all that, and then they went up to Mr. Sani and said, let's do a interview. So we did an interview, got called, uh, but my thesis hadn't finished till that time, so I deferred my joining by about a few months, and I joined TCS in actually end of 81. And since then, it has been a fantastic journey even in TCS. Um, Within a few weeks of my joining, uh, it was used to be a ritual. Anyone who joined TCS would be met by Mr. F.C. Kohli, who was the director in charge. And he looked at my file and all that and says, "What were you doing all this while? Why did you join late? Why didn't you join the normal um, curriculum?" I mean, they used to have a training program, which was a year-long program. So I said, well, there was some, our college had delayed that session by a couple of months, and I couldn't join in time. So he says, were you involved with the Nakshals? I tell you, it's almost, blew my top because I had nothing to do with any political organization. And so he was basically just provoking me. And then after that, he asked me a few questions and then says, "Good, you know, just try to pick up because you joined late. Try to pick up as much as you can in the next few months, and I'm sure you'll be okay." That was it. So I joined in the software engineering group, which used to actually be responsible for the operating systems and all system software of Burroughs. So joined there. Then eventually moved to within about 8 months or so, I moved to Delhi. There it was a new branch being opened up, and Delhi Burroughs new system was being installed. So worked over there, and then it's actually I used to almost have a daily session with Mr. Kohli that point of time, because if there was a problem in any system, by 9 o'clock you had to diagnose what the problem was, give him a solution, and by 10:30, 11 o'clock you had to report via telex in those days what was the problem, how do you solve it, and so on. I mean, in brief. So he knew me very well at that point of time. And over a period of time, I mean, Mr. Kohli actually became one of my idols in terms of the computer industry. I mean, amazing man, very humble, and always very strict as well. But fortunately, he took a liking for some of us, and he used to actually scan every report in those days. At that point of time, we were probably about what started when I started TCS, it was about 600 people. And by the time I left after 11 years, probably it was close to 2,500. Okay, today is a few lakhs. So he used to scan every report, and I remember in every report he used to go through them, and he would have his comments on them and signature in a turquoise blue ink, which will come back to you, and you have to actually follow it up on that. Anyway, cutting a long story short, I mean, it was a great time in TCS. I actually started the formal datacom, business over there in Delhi that point of time to start with. And before that, I went to Burroughs. I was there for a few years as one of the systems engineers over there. And that's what it is.
Awesome. So you worked in TCS for a long time, from 1981 till 1992. That's
Right,
11 years.
right.
And those were the days of Asiad 82, Indians winning the Cricket World Cup, Indira Gandhi's assassination, Mandal Commission agitations, Rakesh Sharma going into the space, LK Advani's Rath Yatra, and of course, you working at TCS and reaching the position of the business group head of telecom and data services. Now, what happened then that you turned your back to TCS and joined Hughes Software Systems, HSS? Surely someone pulled you there. Please tell us the uncensored version of how you joined Hughes.
Well, one of the things which is there is I somehow while working in Burroughs and then also in TCS at that point we were developing um, um land-based operating system, and I was not exactly the head of that. There was a team in Bangalore which was running it, and I used to be responsible to actually review them and also give any directions or advice if possible. So there was a colleague of mine and me who used to actually be involved in that. Cutting a long story short, the thing I always felt was that India needed to be in the product space, and we needed to also learn how to develop products. And it so happened that that point of time I also represented the Tatas, the, as a representative in one of the very high profile telecom conferences which was held in Administrative Staff College in Hyderabad, where all the Commonwealth heads of telecom, the ministers, the deputy prime ministers, and everyone was there. And I was this junior person representing Tatas over there. So a lot of discussions and all that. And I made up my mind that I would like to give it a try in terms of if I get an opportunity to work and develop products. That's how that itch came in. And that point of time, there was probably a quarter page ad in the papers, which I had not seen. My wife had seen it, and her colleagues and her, said, first they said, told my wife that you should probably apply for it. And then my wife came to me and said that, this is not my area. Why don't you apply for this? And I didn't pay much attention. I didn't know about Hughes at that point of time. I mean, I'd heard of Howard Hughes and Hughes communication and all that, but not much about Hughes network systems or HSS. And but it so happened that Hughes started sending people to come and meet me through Price Waterhouse, saying that Anil and Mr. Ramani would want to actually meet you. It happened one day. I was in my Haley Road office in TCS, and someone came directly to the reception, took me aside, and said that someone is waiting outside to take you to ITT, International Trade Towers. I said, "What is this?" I was pretty annoyed. I said, "Nothing doing. I'm not coming." Few weeks after that, I started getting in from through my own team members. Some of them had kept me in confidence, and they were applying to some of these companies, because the project that we were on in with DRDO, that was getting delayed, and people were getting frustrated, including myself, in terms of that particular project. It was a very high profile project, but for various other reasons outside our control, it got delayed. So they came and told me, they kept on asking us, who do you report to? So that's how they came to know about me. And then one fine day, I was coming back early from office, and my wife said, why don't you go and just, check them out? And because I used to stay in Alaknanda, so coming back and meet them. So it so happened that I just dropped in, and I was very, very impressed with what setup they were making. I mean, in international trade towers in that period, there was hardly any other technology company in the north which had been building that kind of an office and ambience and environment with all the equipment and all, which really struck me. Then I said, okay, um, I'll think about it and come back. This was probably a Friday. Saturday morning, there's a car outside my home saying that Anil Sharma has called you. Would you be able to join him over lunch? So I didn't know what to do, but anyway, I said, okay, since he's taken the pains to do it and such a senior person, so I went over. So I had a chat with Mr. Ramani and some of the members, and then had a chat with Anil. And after that, HSS didn't give me an opportunity to say no. So that's how I joined Hughes.
Wonderful. And when you joined Hughes Software Systems, HSS, and headed the ENS, Enterprise Networking Systems Division, all the business used to come from HNS, the Hughes
Right,
Network Systems. Now,
right.
how was your experience working with HNS? Uh, did you see HNS having enough focus in enterprise networking business, given that it was already taking giant strides in SATCOM and cellular network
Mhm.
pursuits?
See, there's a history of HNS. HNS actually Hughes Networks was formed out of a company called Macom, which was headed by Pradman. And Macom used to be a leader in X25 networks, the precursor to IPN and basically the ATM switch and the FRS 9000 switch. So uh, that point of time, Macom wasn't into digital as much, digital satellites as much as it was later known as. So there was that particular thing which it started with a enterprise networking product, and then definitely pivoted and moved into satellite systems and then wireless networks. So I would say Pradman told me a story, and I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'll say it anyway. So Pradman actually, first time when I met him, very, very, he treated me and he treated me very nicely. And he says, Amitav, I have a experience that and a mistake that I thought I'll share with you. So I said, okay, Pradman, tell me. So Pradman basically said that, see, we when we became Hughes Networks, we actually were looking to acquire companies. And one of the companies in the West Coast, which was making some noise and was making a lot of noise in the area of enterprise networks, routers, and all. So we had a team, due diligence team, which went and had a look. Then there was an engineering team sent to that company to see what the processes and everything are. While Pradman was very keen to actually acquire that, but then his advisors told him, "See, this is a startup. You don't know whether it'll be alive after some time or not, and the processes are quite flaky because they're a startup and they are sort of not that strong in the processes and all that as yet." So at the end of the day, they basically decided not to buy the company. And that company turned out to be the largest router company in the world. I'm not naming it, but it turned out to be the largest router company in the world. Well, far, far bigger than HNS and even Hughes Networks, even Hughes International. And he said, that really was a mistake on our part that we didn't actually acquire that company. They went ahead and acquired another company, which was a leader in token ring. It was actually the inventors of token ring, company called Cytec. And later on, they sold it probably at a loss because it was not really, um, making the business sense or the, having the same synergy as, you would like it to be. So Radman said, I want to actually create a product, and I want to create a team in India which can work on router technologies. And that was the formation of ENS in India. Basically, that was the thing which actually started. Okay, it also appealed to me, and I had already joined. And later on, then all the other products like the IPN, the FRS 9000, and then ATM switch was actually built over there. In much of the software was actually built out of India, and it won some great awards. So while I can say that maybe Padman had this dream of satellites and all that, but he also harbored a dream of actually making enterprise networks a key factor.
Wow, what a story that was. I'm sure not many people know about this, and
I'm not so
perhaps,
sure I should have shared it or not, but took the opportunity to do it because I mean it happens. And a very nice thing about Pradman was he admitted that there was a judgment of error and so on, but he said that we have to now catch up.
yeah, it'll be nice to talk to Pradman sometimes about it. Maybe you can recommend him to come on an interview over here. He's perhaps he doesn't know me at all, but you could probably your recommendation would work. But thanks for that, Amitava, revealing that. And I'm sure not many people know about this. But, it's quite clear as daylight that you are one of the champions, and perhaps you don't get enough credit for it, uh, that had developed the vision, the one who had developed the vision, the blueprint for HSS software product business, a big success story for the company. Would you like to share your experience of that journey in HSS and your thoughts that went behind that strategy decision?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, the thought always was, and again, I have to go back to Anil and Pradman. Anil was the managing director and president that time, and Pradman, obviously, when he formed this company, he told all of us that, see, while you people will be working a lot for HNS, over a period of time, I would like to see HSS as a vibrant company on its own, and it has to have its own business. Okay, so that vision was always there. Now, when a few years down the line, when HSS was extremely successful in offering all the software services to HNS, Pradman didn't forget that motivation that HSS should also, move into other businesses as well. So he called me one day and he said, Amitav, we have this thing, and Anil was also there, and he says, I have heard that you have some thoughts about, building something in products and all that, or, you may be able to actually take up an additional responsibility. Why don't you formulate something um, that point of time in terms of what HSS can do? And obviously, I mean, it had the support of Mao, Vinod, Adesh, Neeraj was there. And whatever we did it sort of together. But I had the sort of responsibility to actually craft out a blueprint, and we involved a lot of the next level people as well. And I can't say that it was my only thought, but it was a joint decision to start looking at businesses outside. And one of the key things which was there is, given the quantum of stacks that we had built, protocol stacks that we had built in ENS, because we were doing the LAN switch and all. And LAN switch, by the way, also won some interop awards, international awards across the board. So we had a huge collection of software protocol stacks. And it was my thought that point of time. And similarly, in there was protocol stacks which were there in wireless systems as well as in satellite systems. So if you really look at that in one shot, if one had to develop that on its own and build a business, it was going to be impossible. But we had that, and it also had the support of the management in HNS to be able to use some of that to actually make them protocols, make them as protocol stacks and sell them outside. So that's how it evolved.
Awesome. So you said some of the next level people whom you involved in this strategy and the blueprint. Would you like to recall some of the names, off the
See,
cuff
there were a
over
lot
here?
of people who have got involved. I tried to, that point of time, to involve as many people as we can, because uh, if it has to be successful, it has to be successful across the company. So, uh, there were quite a few people. I remember one was Madhusudan Reddy. Then there was Aarti Khanna from our side, Piyush. There was Ripu Daman Gupta who was working on the router side. Uh, Balram. I'm just able to recall some of the names from our side, but I remember quite a few people from Vinod's team as well as from Mao's team was there. Um, it's unfortunate that I can't recall all the names now. It's been almost many years, so I'm just not able to give you the names. But it was the case that a lot of people, and it's not fair to them also not to be able to actually mention them. But I want to thank them for what they did.
Awesome. Thanks for that, and, and apologies for putting you on the spot over there on the fly. Uh, but I'm sure everybody was very proud of working with you and the legacy which you left at HSS, and therefore that brings me to my next question. That what completely perplexes me is that you left Hughes after 7 years and a month. You joined HSS in May 1992, so you must have left
Uh,
around June and
yeah.
July 1999,
No, I
right?
left in January 99.
In January
Uh,
99. Right.
Actually,
So,
end of December 1999, 1998, joined in HCL in 1999 January.
right. So, what perplexes me is that, and here's an interesting bit, that Hughes went for its IPO in October 1999. Why in the world would a person who is part of the foundation team, why would he leave just before the time comes to laugh all the way to the bank?
Well, again, I mean, to be very honest with you, there were a few things which were happening. One was, if you really look at, if I really look back, the enterprise networking, the business was fairly small compared to the satellite business and the investment which was going into the wireless business. That point of time, I don't think the wireless business had already started, generating a lot of money, but it was, the passion for Pradman as well. So if one looked at it, enterprise business was profitable, but it was a very small piece, and it was somewhere losing its relevance in the larger scheme of things within the HNS. And that was a little bit of a concern, not only for me, but on behalf of my own colleagues over there, who were working in ENS, that despite having won so many accolades by developing products out of India, and we still, wasn't in the larger frame of things, one of the bright spots, as you may call it. It's not that, I mean, it had great people. I mean, I am blessed to work with the people that was there in ENS in India, as well as in ENS in US. I mean, I had a great relationship with most people in HNS, particularly in ENS, during my period, and still are in touch. I'm in touch with a few of them.
Awesome, but I must ask this, and forgive me for asking this. Uh, so, is it true that you completely missed the, financial gains from the IPO of HSS,
Okay,
which the
let me
others
come
did?
to that. Yeah, okay. See, about I left in 1919, let's say 1999 beginning. Uh, that point of time, already there were a number of companies who were approaching me. Some of them even barged into my office in HSS in Sector 31, claiming to be a potential partner or a client, and then suddenly saying, "Why don't you join us?" Okay, it was happening, and I had poo-pooed it. Actually, I never thought about it that way, and I never actually encouraged such a situation as well. However, around October 1998, one of my ex-colleagues from TCS, he suddenly dropped in at my home with his wife, and my wife was also there. And he said, Amitabh, I want you to come and meet my ex-boss. I said, ex-boss where? So he says, well, in HCL. He used to be part of the HCL R&D that point of time. I mean, long before he joined TCS. So, and he was a senior colleague. I respected him a lot, so I couldn't say no to him. So I said, okay, I can just drop in whenever you want. So I went and met the then vice chairman of HCL, one Mr. Raman, and we had a very interesting meeting. I mean, he's a traditional Tambram, very very to himself actually. I mean, very soft and very soft spoken as well. And but within HCL, he was extremely respected and feared as well. So anyway, I had a fairly strange meeting. I mean, we didn't talk much. He just asked me a few questions. I kept on because I had come. I kept on talking, but it ended. And then I came back and said, "Okay, fine. I've met your ex-boss, and thanks for that. It was nice meeting him." He says, "Well, what did he? Did he not say anything?" I said, "What would he say?" So he says, "No, did he not offer you a position?" I said, "No." Then he says, "No, no, no, don't worry. I'll talk to him. He will, speak to you again." So I met him again along with a few other people that I knew from ex-TCS days and all. So they were also there, and generally again there was a lot of talk, and then finally they offered me a position for executive vice president for HCL for their the ex HP HCL R&D division, which was there. So they wanted me to take that over and run that. I was in Noida, and I was actually taking care of the Noida division initially. So, and they sort of offered me basically a challenge. They said that, we are into this business, but we are pretty small. But this is an area that we want to actually build, which was very similar to what HSS was doing, in the non-HNS business. I mean, developing products for, NEC supercomputers, for Renaissance, I mean, Hitachi. You can just name all the big companies. They had some kind of relationship with them, and they said that we need someone to actually take that helm and make it into a business. So I found that HCL HSS probably was about 22, 23 million that point of time when I left. It became much bigger later on, and HCL was probably about 115 million. And The scale was bigger, and the overall scope was also much bigger. That point of time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, HSS is still very close to my heart, but it offered me a challenge, and many people would in HSS, including Padman, Anil, then Arun, came to me and said, this is a mistake you're doing. You're leaving HSS when the IPO had not been declared that point of time. So there was, it is not that I actually ran away from the IPO, but HCL more than anything, they compensated me not only for my loss but also beyond it.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
let me tell you something very interesting. Hughes IPO happened in October. HCL IPO, which I was part of the leadership team to actually lead it, happened in December that year, December or January that year. And it was one of the largest IPOs in that market in those days. So HSS was extremely successful. HCL was also extremely successful in their IPO.
Right. So you did laugh all your way to the bank, and I congratulate you for that. Uh, on that
And let
note,
me tell you one more thing. My name was there in the prospectus for both HSS as well as HCL because I had left one company and joined another one.
well, so we had best of both the worlds, and that's a rare thing. So once again, congratulations for that. Now, how was your relationship with Arun Kumar, the CEO and president and the managing director of HSS? Uh, Please tell us something about Arun which people might not ordinarily know. And I must add something that in one of my interactions with Arun Kumar, I felt that he never considered HCL Tech somehow to be in the same league as that of HSS. I mentioned HCL Tech as one of the competitors, and he reacted a little acidically to that to me. So, how is your relationship with Arun Kumar?
See, Arun was a thorough gentleman. I mean, he's a very nice man. He came from San Diego, and he had the right mindset in terms of actually even growing SSS as well. And to be honest with you, I mean, he was quite supportive. When we actually did enterprise networks, I was one of the odd person out who also took the responsibility of tech support of ENS in the Asia Pacific region and also for sales, opening up a sales channel in India. Okay, so Arun actually took it very seriously, and he used to accompany me to a few of these meetings in Bombay and other places to help me out in terms of giving the right importance and all. And so, I mean, excellent gentleman. We had a few differences of opinion, but that's only professional, nothing which was outside, which had rancor or something like that. And he did tell me that, you're making such a mistake, you're going to HCL and so on. But exactly, Prashant, that was the challenge that I had to turn around a company which was at that point of time known to be primarily uh, people, they used to send people to US out of 115 million, probably 90 million used to come out of body shopping. And when I met Mr. Nader, Shiv Nader, uh, I mean, he said, well, this is what I want to change. I want it to be a proper software company. And I want it, a large part of the thing to be done out of India. So that was a challenge that he threw at me. And to be very honest with you, it's not me alone, but it's the HCL team. Within the first 3, 4 years, we became one of the best places to work within the world. And today, HCL is really big. It's really big, done very well. So there's nothing to complain about. And my time in HCL has been, I would say, excellent.
Awesome. Looks like it was a right decision at the right time. But here is, an interesting message from someone which I've recorded, and I'd like to play it out to you from a person whom you'll instantly recognize. So,
Right.
with your permission, shall I share my screen and then
Yes,
play that
do.
out to you? Okay, there we go.
I've had very fond memories of working with Amitava. Amitava joined HSS around the same time as I did. He, along with Neeraj Tiwari, Mao, and myself, were heads of the four engineering groups at HSS when HSS started in 1992. Compared to all of us, Amitava was senior both in terms of the age and the professional experience, and hence we had a lot of regard and respect for him. Also, since he came from TCS, which is a software export company, I had a lot to learn from him in terms of systems and processes which are unique to a software services organization compared to a product organization from which I was coming. Amitava was with HSS for 7 years, and I think as part of the core team at HSS, he played a key role in building a very solid foundation for the engineering organization, which came in very handy as HSS grew and started taking projects from other non-Hughes, non-parent customers. Another thing which I remember very well was our frequent trips to Bangalore for hiring. It used to be me, Adesh, Mao, and we used to stay at Taj West End. And during those days, we spent a lot of time together, okay, and got a chance to get to know each other personally, our families, and we had a lot of fun together
Sure.
interviewing some of the best software engineering talent available in the country while building the team at HSS. Amitava is a thorough gentleman, great friend, a very nice individual, and we have continued to keep in touch. And we meet whenever I go to Bangalore or Amitava comes to Delhi NCR. We try to meet as far as possible. So it was wonderful when Prashant asked me that he is going to interview Amitava and he wanted me to send a message. So, hi Amitava, it's so
Hi.
good to have known you, and my best wishes are with you, wishing
Thanks a
you
lot.
good health.
Wonderful. Yeah,
All right.
Vinod is a great
So,
friend, and so are Adesh and Mao. As luck would have it, I've been, talking and been in touch with Vinod more than probably the others. But it was a great family at that point of time in HSS, in terms of building this company, which from probably when we joined, it was like 20 people, 25 people, and became one of the largest technology companies. I mean, I would put it as not a IT company, but a more of a technology product company.
right. So, bonhoming amongst you gentlemen apart, surely there must have been competition between you and Vinod and Mao. So, and further, do you think company-wide Vinod Sood and Mao were getting more attention in general because the company was leaning more towards telecom and satellites, as you admitted yourself, instead of the enterprise networking?
See, I wouldn't put it like that. I definitely, in terms of personal relationships and professional working relationship, also there was no, uh, we didn't have any problems with each other. So I wouldn't really say that there was that kind of rivalry as such. Bit of rivalry will always be there. And as I mentioned to you, that somewhere I was getting the feeling that despite all that we were doing, enterprise networking was not as much in the future of HNS. I can't say that they have done badly. They have done pretty well. I'm talking of ENS, but uh, obviously the future business of HNS was more into satellites and wireless networks. and it was a number one in satellites. So in terms of, let's say, growth and other things, there would be more requirements and more talent required to beef up the operations in those. I'm talking about towards the end of my tenure over there in HSS, and that could relate to some kind of thought process or people interpreting it that way, but I don't see much of an issue.
Excellent. But let's turn the page now and let's look at your life beyond HSS, because you have had such a long and wonderful inspirational career, and we would like to, learn from it. So after Hughes, you went to work with HCL Tech in 1999, and even though you were already almost a couple of decades in the industry, was it a challenge for you to adapt to the culture in HCL Tech, which possibly was very different from that at HSS? What did you
Absolutely.
find different, and how did you cope with it? Moreover, did you miss your ground floor corner office of Plot 31?
Well, I definitely missed it, but we had a decent setup in HCL as well. By the time when I had joined HCL, HCL was also gearing up to actually meet the global challenges, and the ambience environment was also being spruced up to actually match all that was there in the other companies as well. So I would say, since I joined the R&D side of it, the challenges, the culture was, I would say, somewhat similar. It was a bit more subdued at the time when I joined, when I met some of the senior members. I mean, I must say there was enormous talent in HCL R&D that point of time, because most of them came from IIT Kanpur and the other IITs and so on. So it was also a pretty good place to work for. But before anything else, I must acknowledge one thing, as Vinod pointed out. First of all, thanks, Vinod, for your inputs and your kind words. I don't know whether I can live up to them or I lived up to them. Uh, the thing is, it's HSS. At HSS, we were able to build a talent pool which was next to none. I mean, it was phenomenal. The top, talent in the country was with us, to the extent it was also causing enterprise networks more harm, because we were right in the actually at the epicenter of the internet revolution. And the talent pool which was we had was a big attraction for other companies. And I recall, there used to be people, the young folks used to actually, some of them used to actually wait till late night, work till late night, and have calls with prospective customers from US, or rather prospective employers from US. And they were a very easy pick for most of these companies, because it was the experience which was used to count. So talent wise, management wise as well, it had the best of the best at that time. HCL also had HCL R&D also had phenomenal people, but as I when I joined, I felt it was a little more subdued, and people probably a little more reticent in terms of coming out and talking about what should be done, what can be done, and so on. But fortunately, with my exposure in TCS and in Hughes, I was able to break those barriers, and I was able to mingle with them pretty well. And we, at that point of time, the growth in HCL in my tenure, we grew from 115 million to about a billion in 7 years. Okay. Today, that doesn't look that big, but in those days, it was commendable. And a large part of that, actually, I was able to. I mean, there were other leaders, senior leaders, who contributed in a big way. But fortunately, at that point of time, Mr. Nader and Mr. Raman actually entrusted the responsibility of expanding the business and integrating some a number of the HCL businesses together into one HCL Technologies.
Awesome. Really, I I sense that you have a lot of pride in what you did at HCL Tech,
Absolutely.
and really it is well deserved, and I applaud you for that. And however, here's an interesting bit: you were the chief operating officer at Tech Mahindra from 2011 to 2014. Now, this reminds me of the Satyam scam in 2009 and Tech Mahindra bailing it out, creating Mahindra Satyam.
Mhm.
However, the takeover was complete only in 2013, wasn't it? When you were
Right.
the COO. So
Right.
please tell us what you had to go through during this merger process. Was it tough times or was it easier than anticipated?
See, the merger of Satyam with Tech Mahindra had happened before my time. I mean, as you said, 2009. I joined 2010. I left end of 2014. Again, there is a story behind it. I actually had not contemplated joining Tech Mahindra that one time. Actually, when about the time I had left HCL and was in the process of thinking what to do, I was actually, meeting symphony folks, and while I was in the car to come to Bangalore, to the airport and then to Bangalore, I got a call from one of the senior people. I mean, one of the senior most people um, in Tech Mahindra, saying, "Okay, I heard that you're leaving HCL. Why don't you come and meet Vineet Nair Senior, and just tell him when you're going to join. I mean, and join as a president of that company." But I had already given a word to Symphony that point of time, and so I said no, not right now, and we'll think about it later. So in 2010, actually, before that, the relationship between BT and Tech Mahindra had deteriorated quite significantly for number of reasons. I mean, some of it was, you know, to some extent, I would say some hits and misses in terms of delivery and software and other things. And some was there was a sort of a interest of BT to actually reduce their stake in Tech Mahindra. And the chairman of BT had written to Anand Mahindra saying that, unless we actually solve these ground issues, we'll have to probably, look at other options and so on and so forth. So that point of time, Vineet Nair Senior, he was a very senior professional. He was finance secretary, he was chairman of GAIL, and then he had joined HCL as vice chairman. He knew me very well from HCL days. So I got a call from the head of HR saying that Vineet wants to talk to you, and can you come and meet him? I knew Vineet pretty well, so I said, fine, I'll come and meet him. And so Vineet said, we have a challenge. I said, I'm not looking to actually join any company. I'm thinking of doing something outside in terms of consultancy and all. So he said, no, 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 Amitabh, you have to do this for us. And I want you to actually help me out on this. So it so happened I initially reluctantly had agreed. And that was also another big challenge for me because to reverse the challenges which had happened between Tech Mahindra and BT by that point of time was a mammoth challenge for me. But it worked out, and we again became their one of their best suppliers. Not one of them, the best supplier at that point of time, and it really worked out well. So coming back to Mahindra Satyam, the integration as process had already started. I was involved, and CP was then the CEO of Mahindra Satyam. So CP, Vineet, and I, along with a few others, we met and we said, we need to do a ground level integration of Mahindra Satyam with Tech Mahindra. So where I contributed, I can't say I contributed a lot, but I contributed in terms of what we call the industrialization of software processes across both the organization. So I lay the blueprint for that, and actually I ran it across. And by that time, the BT situation had already become much better, and it was running well. So I told Vinny that I would like to leave now. Anyway, I told you that would do it for a short period. So if you can permit me, I would love like to leave. And Vineet also was at that point of time transitioning his managing director, metal to CP, and that was a time when I thought it was a good time to actually uh, leave.
Awesome. What a journey, and what kind of, the transformations which you have seen and transformations which you have done. But it appears that after 2014, when you last worked at Tech Mahindra, you have been experimenting with mentoring and entrepreneurship, and currently are a chartered member of TIE, which I suppose is a global entrepreneurship organization. So please tell us a little bit more about TIE, and how are you associated with it, and what are you doing?
Yeah, so actually, again, Thai, when I left TechM, I sort of wanted to take a break. I was having a little bit of health problems because of overweight and other things, and some of the related issues to it also were there. So I said I want to take off and really relax a bit. And at that point of time, Pawan Kumar, who used to be one of my senior colleagues in TCS, he said, "Why didn't you come with me to TIE?" So I joined TIE, and I've been there for the last 7 years. But to be honest with you, last post COVID, I had reduced my activities across the board because one, my daughter, she's a doctor. She literally forbade me to not to go out of the house during that period, which is almost like 2.5 years. And then I said, if I can't do justice in a proper way to any of my assignments, I don't want to do it. So I reduced it a lot, even the consultancy and the other things. So right now I do a few of them, but not that much. And TIE is a great organization in terms of bringing the investors, the network, and prospective companies together to help these companies launch their businesses or actually take their businesses international. And we also help the government in terms of many initiatives to promote new entrepreneurship. And I've been involved with them for now about 7 years. I think Vinod is
Awesome.
also involved, if I recall. He's into CIA and other things as well, and he's done phenomenally. He's contributed phenomenally in the last few years, both in CIA, NASCOM, and probably TIE.
Right, awesome. So, whenever somebody talks about Thai in the WhatsApp group, which we both are a part of, I immediately recommend them to you, and I'm sure Vinod as well. But you're a Bengali, aren't you? And I have a lot
Yes.
of Bengali friends who are real foodies. So tell us, are you a foodie? What are your favorite dishes? And do you recall the wonderful cafeteria of HSS back from the
Uh,
1990s? Please do tell our viewers about the glorious cafeteria we had.
yeah. Well, I think well, I'm a Bengali and a foodie, and into several other things that Bengalis do, like music and other things. Uh, at the same time, I must tell you, Hughes created an aura and an opulence which is next to none, other than the talent pool that it had. And the cafeteria in Sector 31, right? Uh,
Yeah, 29
yeah,
Electronic City, right.
yeah, electronics, yeah, in Gurgaon. I mean, it was next to none. And every day, I mean, the food which was served was phenomenal, phenomenal. And you know, and my wife actually accuses me that you started gaining weight soon after you joined Hughes over there. So yeah, I very fondly recollect the variety of dishes, the richness of them, and the entire spread which was there. It was fantastic, and that was also a great place to actually mingle with a lot of people. I mean, whom you have not worked with or otherwise.
Absolutely. And what glorious days were those? And
Oh,
hey, coming to
fantastic!
music, coming to music, you mentioned music. Bengalis listen to music as well. And do you listen to Tagore, or
Oh,
what's your
lot.
music taste these days? Also, do you read? I'm sure you do. So
Yeah.
in that case, could you recommend our viewers some of your favorite books? But let's start with music.
Well, I am a, very fond, avid follower of Tagore, Rabindra Sangeet, and but I am also a follower of all kinds of music. Probably I must have a collection of more than 50,000 titles because from my childhood, from it, I inherited it from my father. I used to buy those LP records and those EP records, and even I have a good collection of 78s as well. And after that, CDs, DVDs, and all kinds of things. So I've been fond of music, and I spend a lot of time listening to music across the board: classical, non-classical, Western, non-Western. I mean, folk, and everything.
Awesome. So do you also listen to Guns N' Roses? I heard there's a concert coming up in
I heard
Gurgaon.
so, but I definitely have heard of, I mean, songs of Guns N' Roses and all, but I'm not aware of the concerts. I don't normally go to these concerts. I used to go to the concerts in Calcutta, in other places in Delhi, even in Bangalore, classical concerts or concerts related to Hemant Kumar, Kishore Kumar, all those, Lata Mangeshkar in those days.
Absolutely, and I wish you all the music in
Thank
your
you.
life. But I was wondering if I should ask you this question. So please forgive me for asking this, since I was sort of privy to this information in the attempts to obtain an interview with you. Recently, you underwent a surgery, didn't you? Which turned out to be a kind of a major one, as you mentioned. Painful as it might be, would you like to share with the viewers what you underwent?
Well, it's like this. I mean, I have been, as I said, post 2014, I have been suffering a bit with, blood sugar and blood pressure and all. Recently, I've been actually having some acute problems in terms of, knee osteoarthritis. And it was to the extent that the doctors were saying that you have to probably go through a total knee surgery and all. Along with that, there were some issues related to liver problems, which luckily was not unsurmountable, but yet it was a little serious. So, given all that, my daughter, being a doctor, and she discussed with her colleagues and all, and she said that probably if you go through a gastric bypass, it might help you lose your weight, and as well as it'll help you both in terms of postponing knee surgery, as well as probably the liver would also mend quickly and things like that. So in January I had that. It is not very serious. It's a it's not a that the serious surgery, but what the doctors told me was that given some of the complications, take it easy, and you need to actually take a lot of rest. So that's the reason I had to actually postpone your interview.
So thanks for sharing that bit, Amitava, with all of us, and we wish you the best of health.
Thank
And
you.
I encourage everybody in the HSS WhatsApp group to flood you with warm wishes.
Oh
I'm
no.
sure, you know.
Well,
So
I
there's a
didn't want
storm
people.
brewing up, and it's going to hit you. But really wish you all the best of health, Amitava.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Please tell us a little bit about your family. You mentioned about your daughter, who's a doctor, and but do tell us something further about
See,
your family.
yeah, I've been blessed with a fantastic family. My wife, probably she's much more, competent than I am. She did her master's in applied physics, and she was last senior faculty in PES, in the electrical engineering department, and she is also now retired. But she keeps herself active in terms of mentoring and guiding students in terms of their future and other those areas. My daughter is the eldest, and she has done a master's in general medicine. She did her MD, and now she's actually practicing, and she's now working in Sakra Hospital uh, and doing some fellowship program as well. And my son, he graduated his MS in chemical and biotechnological engineering from an Ivy League college, UPenn, famous because of Elon Musk and some of the luminaries in US. But now he's based out of UK. He's actually working over there. He's married, and we have been recently blessed with a grandchild, granddaughter. We are hoping to see her quite in the next month or two.
Oh, nazar na lage family ko, and Amitabh, what are your passions? How do you spend your time, and what do you love to do, and what keeps you happy and content these days?
See, I mean, it's a bit of everything. I mean, I love reading. I have a huge range of these audiobooks as well. So, some of them I still am, going through right now. Uh, in terms of music, I told you, I spend a lot of time listening to music as well. And I love mentoring people. And although I have cut it down quite considerably, but there are still people, a lot of people who still come to me, take my advice and all, and a few, small investments here and there in some of these companies as well. So I sort of stay active with them.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to a brilliant, eclectic, and a gregarious personality whom I sometimes feel is worthy of being in a Charles Dickens
Is that so?
novel. Ladies and gentlemen, we
I
have
wonder
been
why.
talking to the suave Amitava Roy. Thanks, Amitava.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that you actually could actually have me over here in your program. I've been watching some of your programs recently, and you're a marvelous, not only a marvelous individual, a very successful one, as well as I've seen your interviews. You are quite in depth in your research, and as well as a fantastic interviewer.
Thanks. It was a pleasure. The pleasure was all ours,
And
Amitava, on behalf of
and
all the viewers.
right. And through you, I just want to congratulate all my colleagues in HSS. I mean, they've been brilliant, and all of them have been quite successful. So through you, I want to send this message. Thank you so much for having me with you, and as well as, happy to meet you very much in the near future.
Thank you.